speak, ladies and gentlemen. What if the life you andapos living today is simply the result of decisions you made years ago? And what if the next 10 years are already being shaped by the choices you make this week? Most people believe the future arrives on its own, but it does not. The future is built, one decision at a time. Every habit you repeat, every excuse you accept, every opportunity you ignore, and every challenge you embrace becomes a brick in the foundation of your tomorrow. The biggest mistake people make is believing they have plenty of time. They postpone learning, delay taking action, and wait for motivation to magically appear. But years pass quickly. One day becomes 1 week. 1 week becomes 1 month. Before long, another year is gone and nothing has truly changed. The people who create extraordinary lives are not necessarily the smartest or the luckiest. They simply understand one powerful truth: consistency beats intensity. Small actions performed every single day will always outperform occasional bursts of motivation. If you want to fix your next 10 years, stop asking what you can achieve this month. Start asking who you need to become over the next decade. Because success is nandapos, something you chase, itandapos, something you grow into. Your identity determines your habits, and your habits determine your future. There will always be distractions competing for your attention. There will always be people who doubt your dreams or encourage you to settle. But your future does nandapos belong to them. It belongs to the person you choose to become every morning when you wake up. The next 10 years can either be filled with regret or remarkable growth. That decision begins today, not tomorrow, not next Monday, not next year. Right now. Donandapos, focus on changing your entire life overnight. Focus on changing to Diandapos choices. Read 1 chapter, learn 1 skill, save $1, make 1 phone call, exercise for 30 minutes. Keep 1 promise to yourself. These small victories create unstoppable momentum. Remember, every successful person once stood exactly where you are now, uncertain, afraid, and overwhelmed. The difference is they moved forward anyway. They understood that courage is nandapos, the absence of fear, itandapos, acting despite it. 10 years from now, you andapos, meet the person your daily choices created. Make sure that future version of yourself looks back with gratitude instead of disappointment. Because the greatest investment you andapos ever make is nandapos, in the stock market, a business, or a house, itandapos, in yourself. Most people make the mistake of planning their lives from one day to the next. They wake up asking, quote, "What do I need to get through today?" Quote, instead of asking, and quote, "What kind of person do I want to become over the next 10 years?" End quote. That simple difference in thinking changes everything. When you only think about today, your decisions are driven by comfort, convenience, and immediate satisfaction. You choose what feels easy rather than what creates lasting growth. But when you begin thinking in decades, every choice carries greater meaning because you understand that today andapos, actions are quietly shaping tomorrow andapos, reality. Imagine planting a tree. You don't andapos it, expect it to provide shade tomorrow. You water it consistently, protect it from storms, and trust the process even when there is no visible reward. Your life works the same way. Every skill you learn, every healthy habit you build, every book you read, every meaningful relationship you nurture, and every challenge you overcome is like planting another seed. At first, nothing seems to change. Days feel ordinary and progress appears invisible. But years later, those tiny investments become the foundation of a life that others call successful. Thinking in decades also changes the way you respond to setbacks. A single bad day no longer feels like failure. A disappointing month no longer convinces you to quit. You understand that 1 chapter does not define the entire story. Speak. Long-term thinkers know that temporary struggles are part of permanent growth. They don't allow short-term emotions to destroy long-term dreams. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they ask, "What is this preparing me for?" That mindset transforms obstacles into opportunities and failures into valuable lessons. This perspective also helps you make wiser decisions. Before saying yes to an opportunity, purchasing something you don't need, or spending hours scrolling through distractions, you begin asking yourself a powerful question. Will this decision matter 10 years from now? Most distractions lose their power when viewed through the lens of a decade. Temporary pleasure becomes less appealing when it steals time from building the future you truly want. You stop chasing instant gratification because you recognize that lasting fulfillment always requires patience and discipline. Thinking in decades doesn't mean ignoring the present, it means giving today's actions a greater purpose. Every morning becomes an opportunity to move one step closer to the person you hope to become. Every workout strengthens not just your body, but your future health. Every hour spent learning increases your future value. Every dollar saved creates future freedom. Every difficult conversation strengthens future relationships. Small actions gain extraordinary importance when connected to a long-term vision. Many people underestimate how quickly 10 years can pass. They assume there will always be another chance to start, another Monday to get serious, another year to pursue their dreams. But time moves whether you're intentional or not. 10 years from now, you will either be grateful for the decisions you started making today or wish you had begun sooner. The future is not built by dramatic moments of inspiration, but by ordinary days lived with extraordinary consistency. Stop measuring your life by what happens today alone. Start measuring it by the direction you're heading. When your vision stretches beyond the next 24 hours and reaches into the next decade, your priorities change, your discipline grows stronger, and your life begins to reflect the future you've chosen instead of the circumstances you've accepted. Success is rarely the result of one big decision. More often, it is the outcome of hundreds of small choices repeated so consistently that they become part of who you are. People often look at someone who has achieved great things and assume there must have been a single breakthrough moment that changed everything. In reality, what they are seeing is the visible result of years of invisible habits. Every great accomplishment begins with small actions that seem almost insignificant in the moment but grow stronger through repetition. This is the power of habits that compound over time. Think about the way money grows when it earns interest. At first, the increase seems almost unnoticeable, but as time passes, the growth accelerates because each gain builds upon the previous one. Your habits work in exactly the same way. Reading 10 pages of a book today may not make you an expert, but reading 10 pages every day for 5 years will give you knowledge that most people never develop. Exercising for 30 minutes once will not transform your body, but doing it consistently for years will completely change your health, energy, and confidence. The smallest habits often produce the greatest rewards because they multiply quietly over time. The challenge is that habits rarely deliver immediate results. People want quick success, instant recognition, and overnight transformation. When they don't see progress after a few days or weeks, they assume their efforts aren't working. They quit just before the results begin to appear, but growth is often happening beneath the surface long before anyone can see it. Just as a seed develops roots underground before breaking through the soil, your habits are building strength even when there is no visible evidence. Patience is not just a virtue, it is a requirement for long-term success. The opposite is also true. Negative habits compound just as powerfully as positive ones. Skipping one workout seems harmless. Wasting one evening scrolling through distractions feels insignificant. Spending money carelessly for one day doesn't appear dangerous. But repeated over months and years, these small decisions slowly shape a future you never intended to create. Every habit is casting a vote for the person you are becoming. There are no neutral actions. Every repeated choice is either moving you closer to your goals or further away from them. Building powerful habits also removes the need to rely on motivation. Motivation comes and goes with your emotions, but habits continue even when you don't feel inspired. Successful people don't achieve more because they wake up excited every day. They achieve more because they have created routines that keep them moving forward regardless of how they feel. They understand that discipline is more reliable than emotion. When a behavior becomes automatic, progress continues even on difficult days. You don't need to change your entire life overnight. Instead, focus on becoming just a little better each day. Improve one skill, save a little more money, spend a little less time on distractions, speak with more kindness, learn one new lesson. These actions may seem too small to matter, but they are creating momentum that will eventually become impossible to stop. Every day you repeat a positive habit, you strengthen it. Every week you remain consistent, you build confidence. Every month you continue. Despite challenges, you prove to yourself that lasting change is possible. Your future will not be defined by the occasional moments when you feel inspired. It will be defined by the habits you choose to repeat when no one is watching. Years from now, the life you experience will be the accumulated result of the choices you make today. Build habits that serve your future, trust the process even when progress feels slow, and remember that extraordinary lives are built through ordinary actions repeated with extraordinary consistency. Many people spend their lives chasing a bigger paycheck, believing that earning more money is the answer to every problem. While increasing your income can certainly improve your quality of life, focusing only on money is a short-term strategy. Income can disappear through job loss, economic changes, or unexpected setbacks. Skills, however, stay with you. They become a part of who you are, and no one can take them away. If you want to secure the next 10 years of your life, stop asking how you can earn more today and start asking how you can become more valuable tomorrow. The marketplace rewards value, not simply effort. Two people can work equally hard, yet one earns significantly more because they possess skills that solve bigger problems. This is why continuous learning is one of the greatest investments you can ever make. Every new ability you develop increases your capacity to contribute, create opportunities, and adapt to change. Whether it is communication, leadership, problem solving, technology, financial literacy, negotiation, or emotional intelligence, each skill becomes another tool that helps you navigate life's challenges with greater confidence and effectiveness. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that learning ends when school is over. In reality, education should never stop. The world changes constantly. Industries evolve, technology advances, and new opportunities emerge every year. Those who continue learning remain relevant, while those who stop growing often struggle to keep up. The most successful people are not necessarily those with the highest degrees, but those who maintain the curiosity to learn, improve, and adapt throughout their lives. Skills also create freedom. When you develop expertise in an area, you are no longer limited to a single opportunity. You gain the ability to explore different careers, start businesses, mentor others, or create multiple sources of income. Instead of depending on one employer or one circumstance, your abilities allow you to generate value wherever you go. This kind of freedom is far more powerful than simply earning a higher salary because it gives you control over your future rather than leaving it in someone else's hands. Another advantage of investing in skills is the confidence it builds. Confidence doesn't come from wishing for success. It comes from knowing you have prepared yourself. Every book you read, every course you complete, every challenge you overcome, and every hour you spend practicing strengthens your belief in your own abilities. That confidence influences how you speak, how you make decisions, and how you respond when life becomes difficult. Instead of fearing change, you begin to welcome it because you trust your capacity to learn whatever is needed. Developing valuable skills also requires patience and consistency. Mastery is never achieved overnight. There will be moments when progress feels slow and when you wonder whether the effort is worth it. But every expert was once a beginner who refused to quit. Every successful leader once struggled with communication. Every accomplished entrepreneur once made mistakes. Every respected professional once lacked experience. The difference is they kept learning long after others became comfortable. Imagine where you could be 10 years from now if you dedicated even 1 hour each day to improving yourself. Thousands of hours of focused learning would transform not only your knowledge, but your character, opportunities, and influence. The person who invests in skills gains something that money alone cannot buy: the ability to create value repeatedly, regardless of circumstances. Income is the reward for the value you provide, but skills are what make that value possible. Build your abilities before you chase bigger rewards, because when you become more capable, greater opportunities naturally begin to find you. Every person has the same 24 hours in a day, yet the difference between those who build extraordinary lives and those who remain stuck often comes down to one thing: where they direct their attention. Distractions are rarely loud or obvious. They don't always appear as major obstacles. Instead, they quietly steal minutes that become hours, hours that become days, and days that eventually become years. The tragedy is that most people don't realize what they have lost until they look back and wonder where the time went. Your future is not only shaped by what you choose to do, but also by what you choose to ignore. The modern world is designed to compete for your attention. Every notification, endless video, social media feed, and unnecessary argument is trying to pull your focus away from what truly matters. None of these distractions seem dangerous on their own. Watching one more video or checking your phone one more time feels harmless. But repeated every day, these small interruptions break your concentration and prevent you from making meaningful progress. Great achievements require deep focus, and deep focus cannot exist where constant distraction is allowed to grow. One of the hardest lessons to learn is that saying yes to everything often means saying no to your future. Every unnecessary commitment consumes time and energy that could have been invested in learning, creating, improving, or building something meaningful. Highly successful people are not successful because they have more time than everyone else. They are successful because they protect their time with discipline. They understand that every decision has a cost, and they refuse to spend their most valuable resource on things that add little value to their lives. Distractions are not limited to technology. Sometimes they come in the form of negative relationships, constant drama, unhealthy habits, or environments that encourage comfort instead of growth. There are people who constantly complain but never take action. People who discourage ambition because it reminds them of their own excuses, and people who consume your emotional energy without contributing anything positive. If you spend enough time surrounded by negativity, it becomes difficult to maintain a positive vision for your own future. Protecting your focus sometimes means limiting access to those influences, even when it feels uncomfortable. Learning to eliminate distractions also requires clarity about your purpose. When you know exactly what you want to achieve, it becomes easier to recognize what does not deserve your attention. Every opportunity, invitation, or activity can be measured against your long-term vision. Ask yourself a simple question before giving your time to anything. Is this helping me become the person I want to be? If the answer is no, it may be a distraction disguised as entertainment obligation or convenience. The clearer your destination, the easier it becomes to reject anything that leads you away from it. Creating an environment that supports focus is just as important as having good intentions. Remove temptations before they become problems. Set boundaries around your time. Schedule moments for uninterrupted work. Replace habits that waste your energy with habits that strengthen your mind and character. Read instead of endlessly scrolling. Practice instead of procrastinating. Build instead of merely consuming. These choices may seem small, but repeated consistently, they reshape the direction of your life. The truth is that your future is being built every single day, whether you realize it or not. Every moment spent on meaningful action moves you closer to your goals, while every unnecessary distraction quietly pulls you further away. You cannot control every interruption life brings, but you can control what you allow to dominate your attention. The people who accomplish remarkable things are not those who never face distractions. They are the ones who recognize them, refuse to be controlled by them, and consistently choose progress over temporary pleasure. When you learn to guard your focus as carefully as your most valuable possession, you stop giving your future away one distraction at a time and begin building a life that reflects your highest potential. Every decision you make today is introducing to the person you will become tomorrow. Whether you realize it or not, your future self is being shaped by the choices you make in this very moment. Most people make decisions based on how they feel right now. They choose comfort over discipline, convenience over growth, and instant gratification over lasting fulfillment. They ask themselves, what do I want today? Instead of asking, what will my future self thank me for? That simple shift in perspective has the power to transform the direction of your life. Imagine meeting yourself 10 years from now. Picture the person you have become, the habits you have built, the relationships you have nurtured, the knowledge you have gained, and the life you have created. Now ask yourself an important question. Are the decisions you are making today helping that person exist, or are they making their journey harder? Every healthy meal you choose, every hour you spend learning, every difficult conversation you have, every promise you keep, and every distraction you resist is a gift to your future self. Speak at the same time, every excuse you accept, every opportunity you ignore, and every habit that weakens your character becomes a burden that your future self will have to carry One of the greatest challenges in life is that the rewards of good decisions are often delayed, while the rewards of poor decisions are immediate. It feels easier to sleep in than to wake up early and exercise. It feels more enjoyable to spend money impulsively than to save for the future. It feels more comfortable to avoid difficult conversations than to address problems honestly. In the moment, these choices seem small and insignificant. But life is rarely changed by one dramatic decision. It is shaped by thousands of ordinary decisions repeated over months and years. The future you experience is simply the accumulated result of the choices you make today. Making decisions based on your future self also requires emotional maturity. There will be days when you don't feel motivated. There will be moments when fear tells you to stay where you are because change feels uncertain. But growth has never depended on comfort. The people who build extraordinary lives learn to separate temporary emotions from long-term priorities. They understand that feelings change, but the consequences of their decisions often remain for years. Instead of asking what feels easiest, they ask what creates the greatest long-term benefit. This mindset also changes the way you approach opportunities and challenges. Rather than avoiding difficult tasks, you begin to see them as investments. Learning a new skill, reading another book, developing discipline, improving your communication, or taking responsibility for your mistakes may require effort today, but they strengthen the person you are becoming. Every challenge becomes a chance to build resilience. Every setback becomes an opportunity to gain wisdom. Instead of being discouraged by temporary discomfort, you recognize that meaningful growth almost always begins where comfort ends. Your future self is depending on the decisions you make right now. That version of you cannot travel back in time to fix his mistakes or recover wasted opportunities. The only person who can shape that future is the person you are today. This realization should not create fear. It should create purpose. Every sunrise offers another chance to choose wisely. Every decision is an opportunity to build a stronger foundation for the years ahead. When you begin living with your future self in mind, your priorities become clearer, your discipline grows stronger, and your daily actions gain greater meaning. Instead of chasing what is easy, you begin choosing what is valuable. Instead of settling for temporary satisfaction, you start building a life filled with lasting fulfillment. One day, when you look back on the journey, you will realize that your greatest success was not achieved in a single moment, but through countless decisions made in honor of the person you were determined to become. Time is the one resource that every person receives in equal measure. Yet it is also the one thing that can never be recovered. Once it is gone, you can lose money and earn it back. You can fail at a business and start another. You can make mistakes and learn from them. But you cannot reclaim yesterday. Every second that passes becomes a permanent part of your past. That is why one of the greatest mistakes people make is believing they can always start later. They tell themselves they will begin next week, next month, or next year, never realizing that postponement is often the quietest form of failure. Dreams are rarely destroyed by a lack of ability. More often, they are destroyed by endless delay. Many people spend years waiting for the perfect moment. They wait until they feel more confident, have more money, gain more experience, or have fewer responsibilities. They convince themselves that one day everything will align perfectly, making it easy to begin. Speak, but the perfect moment never arrives because life will always present new challenges, new distractions, and new reasons to wait. If you continue waiting for ideal conditions, you may spend your entire life preparing instead of progressing. The people who achieve remarkable things are not those who waited until they were completely ready. They are the ones who chose to begin despite uncertainty. Starting today does not mean you need to have every answer. It simply means taking the first step with what you already have. Every expert was once a beginner. Every successful business started with a single idea. Every marathon runner began by taking one small step. Great achievements are never completed in a single day, but they always begin on one. Too many people underestimate the power of small beginnings because they are focused on immediate results. They fail to realize that consistency turns ordinary actions into extraordinary outcomes over time. Fear often disguises itself as procrastination. We delay because we are afraid of failure, rejection, criticism, or making mistakes. Yet the irony is that by refusing to act, we guarantee that nothing changes. Action creates experience, experience builds confidence, and confidence opens doors that hesitation never will. Every attempt teaches you something valuable. Every setback provides wisdom. Every challenge strengthens your character. Waiting teaches you very little, but taking action transforms you in ways that planning alone never can. Time also has a way of accelerating as life moves forward. The years that once seemed endless begin to pass more quickly. One birthday becomes another. One season blends into the next. Suddenly, opportunities that once seemed available forever are no longer within reach. Relationships change, circumstances evolve, and chances that were once easy to pursue may disappear. This is why urgency is so important. Not the kind of urgency that creates panic, but the kind that reminds you that your goals deserve today andapos effort, not tomorrow andapos excuses. Imagine looking back 10 years from now. The version of yourself in the future will either be grateful that you started today or regret that you kept postponing what mattered most. That future is being shaped right now by the decisions you make after reading these words. Every page you choose to read, every skill you decide to learn, every healthy habit you build, every difficult conversation you have, and every courageous step you take becomes part of the foundation of your future. Time will continue moving whether you act or not. The clock does not slow down for fear, uncertainty, or procrastination. Every sunrise is another opportunity, but it is also one less day than you had yesterday. The life you dream about is not built by waiting for the right time. It is built by recognizing that the right time has always been the moment you decide to begin. The next 10 years are not waiting for your permission. They are already unfolding, one day at a time. The question is not whether time will pass, it will. The question is who you will become while it does. Every habit you build, every skill you learn, every distraction you eliminate, every decision you make with your future in mind, and every step you take today is shaping the life you will one day call your own. Don't andapos. Underestimate the power of ordinary days. Great lives are not created by a few extraordinary moments. They are built through thousands of consistent choices made when no one is watching. Your future is nandapos, written by luck, talent, or perfect circumstances. It is written by your discipline, your mindset, and your willingness to keep moving forward even when progress feels slow. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop telling yourself you andapos will begin someday. Someday is not a day on the calendar. The only moment you truly own is this one. Make the decision that your future self will thank you for. Start building the habits that last. Speak. Invest in becoming more valuable. Protect your focus. Think beyond today and act with the next decade in mind. Because 10 years from now, you will meet the person your daily choices created. Make sure you are proud to shake their hand. Thank you.